Hello, Tim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Tim, you were formerly a comedian, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And today you are a Salesforce admin.
Yes, I am. Yep.
This is crazy, right?
It is.
And you used to do comedy just until COVID hit.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. I've been doing comedy for about 27 years.
Wow.
And I performed all over the country. I owned my own club for a while, my own comedy club
Wow. In Boston?
in Boston. It was called Motley's Comedy Club.
Are you famous comedian?
No, I'm decently well known in Boston, but that's you know
Yeah,
that's
but
not that
Boston is
big a
like
deal.
top 5 city in US.
It is. It is.
So you were one of the top comedians in a top US city then.
I was for a while. Then I got old and I didn't want to go out at night. Um, no, but it's interesting. So the guy who I owned the comedy club with is the guy who ended up getting me into Salesforce.
Wow. Wow. Why did you think? Why did he think you could be a good in Salesforce based on your comedy?
I think it's because uh, I think he just needed somebody who had a hard time saying no to things. That's what he needed. He started this company building it. We're building an app on Salesforce, and he just got too busy. So I'd never even heard of Salesforce at the time. I had no idea what it was. He didn't even tell me about it. He just said, just come work for me.
And you agreed. You said,
Well, I said no at first, and then he kept sweetening the deal.
mm,
And so the first day I show up for work, uh, he shows me the app, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm looking at. The second day, we had the Salesforce World Tour happened to be in town, so he dragged me to that. And there's a bunch of talks and a bunch of speeches, and then the Dropkick Murphys played at 10 a.m. on a Thursday, and I was like, I don't know what Salesforce is, but they can afford to get the Dropkick Murphys out of bed. I guess I'm on that. I was like, is this a cult? What's going on? Um,
and now you're part of the
no,
cult.
I'm part of the cult. Yeah, and I guess got thrown in the deep end. He was like, yeah, so we use Salesforce. I need you to be our expert. Go.
Were you the first hire for the company?
Uh, I was the first
Full time
full time. Yeah.
hire. So you're the guy who hired you used to run the comedy place with you, right?
Yep. Yep.
So he's also a comedian.
Yes.
So you guys comedians united and create this successful
Absolutely.
ISV.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that must be a fun place to work at.
Well, I mean, before COVID drove us all to our homes, it was great. I mean, just sitting around the office was fantastic.
That's amazing. That's so you is that somewhere on your website? It should say that this was a comedy run by successful comedians.
Yeah. Well, I did. I had so I'd been at the company for 6 months, 8 months maybe,
Mhm.
and I was doing a show kind of nearby the office. And I get up on stage and I look down, and there's like 3 people from the company and 2 of our customers sitting in the front row. And my act is not exactly corporate friendly, right? So I was like, oh no, I'm about to cost us some business. Um, it ended up going
Wow,
okay, but I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, you got to tell me if you're bringing customers. You got to give me a heads up.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you were a successful comedian.
Hmm.
Now you work as a Salesforce admin at a very successful ISV,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Veruna. It's maybe one of the top financial techs on App Exchange.
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing, we're an InsurTech. We sell an agency management system for insurance agencies, and we've outlived a few folks. So we're doing okay.
And how long you been doing this?
About 3.5 years, I guess. Yeah. 3.5 years.
Are you glad that you made this leap?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like it's funny. I always had an interest in tech and in computers when I was a kid. But I'm old enough, man. Like in the 1980s, like if you were into computers, you got beat up. So they eventually I just got into the arts. Like my degree, I have a fine arts degree. Like I don't have any sort of technical background. But I always did, I always did like well in math classes, and I always kind of enjoyed it. So this has given me a chance to really sort of kind of finally just embrace it and get into it. And it's really, and it's surprisingly creative. Like, coming up with solutions on the Salesforce platform is a very creative, it's not just, grinding numbers. Like, you really have to come up with some elegant creative solutions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And as a Salesforce admin, this was like the first time you ever worked at a tech company, right?
There was a short period around the year 2000. I worked for a tech company
Oh,
that
okay.
it was actually a great. We sold a. It was ahead of its time, man. It was ahead of its time. We sold streaming video games. We came up with some technology where
Streaming video games.
you could take any game you could buy, off the shelf. We could deliver it streaming. We came up with this little wrapper, this little software wrapper we'd put around it. We could deliver it streaming. But this is before everybody had broadband, right? Before everybody, so the user base was just not there.
Wow.
And then we got our final round of financing. Our final round of financing we got from this company called Enron. Right before that, the executives at Enron got let out of the building in handcuffs. So that did not last. It was great though. I got paid to play video games.
Wow.
Like we had to test them, right? You have to test to make sure that the software wrapper was installed correctly. So it was literally, okay, Tim, we're going to start, delivering Unreal Tournament. We need you to play it all day to make sure it works.
So you're a software tester?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that. But I mean, it was the least rigorous software testing. It really was. We played video games until they broke. That was my day. That was my whole day. It was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. Salesforce is cool, but that was better.
Interesting.
Yeah, but then but then again, the bottom fell out. 2001, the bottom fell out, and it took me a long time to find my way back.
And you didn't even look for the way back; it just came to you.
I tried. It's funny. I tried. So again, I was quote unquote a video game tester, or a software tester. So I actually went to do a couple like QA job interviews,
Mm-hmm.
and man, I was completely out of my depth. Like it was very obvious that being a real QA guy was not the same as sitting around playing Unreal Tournament all day. So I ended up just, I had a wife and a small kid at the time, so I just sort of grabbed whatever day job I could get, and comedy, right? I was just working as a secretary during the day and then doing comedy at night, and that paid the bills.
So you had 2 jobs.
Yep.
To pay bills.
Yeah. And like I said, and then my man called me up and asked me if I wanted to come do this.
Wow, awesome. And how old were you when you started becoming a Salesforce admin? Just curious what age you made the career switch.
I would have been 47 at that point. So
wow.
Yeah, pretty late in life.
Were you afraid that, can you do this? Maybe you will let your friend down.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it was especially that first month. I was like, what am I still like, so it was funny. So, we were rapidly building the app at that time, and we had to make a bunch of fields on an object and map it to some custom stuff. And I didn't know what an object was. I didn't know what a field was. They showed me how to do it twice, and I just sort of like copied what they did. And now I look back and I'm like, oh my God, what we were doing. I could have blown everything up. I had no concept of what I was doing. I was literally just, they're like, type it like this, copy it and paste it here, call it that. And I had no concept of what I was doing, right? Like, I knew that when I hit save, a little --C got added to the end, and make sure you copied that when you pasted it. But I had no clue what that meant. I had no idea what the API was. I did not know. And then like, again, 6 months later, I look back and I'm like, oh man, I did that all wrong. If I known I was going to be I was going to run the support team and I would have to support the junk I made, I would have done it better the first time.
Are you happy that you made the career switch from comedy to Salesforce admin?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, I'm still, 3.5 years, like I would consider myself relatively new. Like I'm still learning new stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's fun about it, right? Like and you know how it is working for these customers who may or may not be super grounded in Salesforce.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll ask you to do something right? And your first reaction will be, no, we can't, there's no way to do that. That can't be done. And then you go, well, maybe if we did this, and if I could make a formula field here, and then that would check a checkbox, and then we could do a thing here. Like that's the part and you look up and it's 4 hours later, and you've kind of come up with a cool little workflow that actually helps people do their job, right? Like that's really satisfying. That's really satisfying at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's really frustrating, and I throw my computer across the room, but sometimes I get it right.
What do you love about being a Salesforce admin compared to what you did before? Is it the salary, the work-life balance? Is it being challenged every day? Is it having job security?
The salary and job security are definitely right. Like
the best thing.
Like comedy's fun, it's great, but there's no health insurance,
Mm.
and you're out late at night and you're hanging out in bars, and it is not the healthiest lifestyle, right? Like at least with as a Salesforce admin, I can work during the day, sleep at night. I've got money to take my wife out to dinner. Like it's not bad. Like I like that. But it is a new challenge every day. What's really cool though also is the community, right? Like the Salesforce community is pretty amazing. Like every time I come up against something I can't figure out, there's someone who will have the answer for me almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I spend a lot of time on the Reddit, Salesforce subreddit.
Mm.
That's how I hooked up with you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've posted a couple things there, and the answers come like that, like lickety split.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing how good the answers are and how fast they come.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's probably because, or mostly because, somebody's faced it before. Like, I've got a couple guys on my team that they have to figure stuff out, and I kind of I want to let them figure things out, right? Because that's how you learn. But every now and again, I'll grab a ticket and bang it out, and they'll go, "Oh my God, you're so smart!" And I'm like, "It's not smarts, man. It's just I've had more practice. I've had to do this before.
Yeah,
I've had to figure this out before. You haven't figured it out yet."
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's and and being a Salesforce admin, your life quality is much better. Do you encourage your friends or other comedians to also make a switch?
Well, I'm encouraging. I have a son who's 19, and he's doing a little data analysis for our company, right?
Really?
And
Cool.
I'm like, well, you're kind of learning Salesforce as you go. Like, it would not be a bad idea to get certified, man. Like that Salesforce, that admin certification can take you a long way.
If you had to recommend other people to become a Salesforce admin, like let's say someone who is a comedian or in some kind of other entertainment job,
Yep.
a lot of which right now are not doing well, right?
Right, because of COVID, sure.
Because of COVID, yeah, there's all this entertainment industry is I don't think it's people are working right in entertainment right
Not
now.
very much. No, I mean there are very few shows. Like so right now, if I hadn't had if I didn't have Salesforce, right? If I wasn't working in Salesforce, we'd be in a world of hurt right now if we were just relying on comedy shows because there's very few.
Yep, and you'll be on unemployment benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. So
and let's say there are comedians, other entertainment people listening to you right now. What are 3 things you would suggest that they do so that they can also make a career switch from this not so hot industry to something really cool like what you're doing?
Well, the first thing I think that's an interesting question because when you're in that world, when you're in the entertainment industry, sometimes people feel like if they get a real day job, like they're somehow less of an artist or less of a performer, right? And I think that is and I used to feel that way, right? Like I would only get day jobs that I didn't really care about, I didn't have to think about, right? Because I wanted to keep myself focus all my energy on my comedy, which makes a certain amount of sense, right? Like, if you're going to go for this, you got to go for it. You got to be all in. But, being able to pay your bills and, buy nice presents at Christmas and, drive a late model car, not having to worry about that stuff is its own benefit, right? Like, so
Yeah.
if you have a day job that you actually like and are challenged by and can succeed in, I feel like it's actually going to make you a better artist because you're not gonna be scraping for every last dollar. You're not gonna scrape every last gig. So the first thing I would tell people in this profession is like, don't be afraid to like really go for something like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like get this, get the certification, get a, it's great. What's great about it, like, yeah. So, I mean, so don't be afraid, right? That'd be the first thing I say. Don't be afraid to really commit to doing something like this. And the second thing is like, what's great about Salesforce is you can sort of carve your own path a little bit, right? Like, you could go be an admin for a company that has a team, right? You could go, do admin work for a nonprofit. You could sort of be a consultant and just pick and choose, like when you don't have a lot of gigs that month, you could put yourself out there and pick up some work. And when when you're out on tour and you don't need it, then great. Then you put it, then you don't do any consulting. But like it's that. I mean, something like this is I tell my wife, like, my Salesforce certification is like the second most valuable thing we own after my house. Like, I feel so much more like if the worst case happened and I got unemployed tomorrow, I feel like I could probably go get a pretty great job very quickly.
Yeah. So you're less stressed about life, right? You're just more about
Much less
enjoying.
stressful. Yeah. I mean, again, and work is stressful. Like we're a growing company. We're onboarding customers, and some of them get it and some of them don't. But it's a different kind of stress, right? Like, it's not like existential stress. It's
Yeah.
just like it was a busy day, right? That customer, pissed me off.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's compared to like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, get that thing this month. Like, I hope that gig comes through. I hope that shady booker pays me the $200 he's supposed to pay me. Like, it really does bring a certain amount of peace to like just have a steady, challenging, interesting, and there's growth, right? Like, I'm a certified admin, but if I wanted to get more into development or, solutions architecting, I could. It's there. The path is there.
Yeah, and there are a lot of companies out there probably willing to hire you, train you, pay you good salary, right?
Yeah. So it's I have no regrets about getting into Salesforce whatsoever. None whatsoever.
Are you really grateful to your friend who brought you into Salesforce?
I am. I really am. He takes care of me. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's one of the best people, man. He doesn't even work for this company. He moved on to start another company.
Ah.
And I'm like, I'm staying here. I like this.
what, Tim, what skills are you using from your previous career that are helping you do well as a Salesforce admin?
Oh, okay. I like that. So I would definitely say, like, creativity, right? You have to come with creative solutions, like figure it out, being able to, I feel like sometimes I come at a problem from kind of a different angle just because I'm used to sort of working in that creative fashion. I'm able to communicate well with customers, right? Like, I think I'm because I don't come from a technical background and had to learn this stuff like piece by piece. I think I'm better at explaining it than somebody who's really comes from a computer background, right? Like, I know, it is like you take for granted certain things.
Yeah. You've been in their place just recently, so
Exactly. So I know what's weird. Like, I do a lot of we just hired a new trainer, but I've done a lot of the training of the admins who buy our product and are going to have to be the admin for their org.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, very few of them come from a technical background. So like, I was very easy. Like, I feel like I had a really good idea of like the stuff I really needed to explain really carefully. I'm like, because it took me a long time to understand this, right? Like for me, it was like, making different pick list variables available on different record types. Like, for whatever reason, man, I just could not get my head around that. I just could not. It just did not click. And then it finally did. And now when I train my admins, I'm like, okay, look, this might seem hard, but you can get it. And here's what I learned, and here's how you do it. Like, so that I definitely use that. And again, humor, like, these people are frustrated. You know how it is when you're brand new, like I was, right? When you're brand new and you don't even understand what these fields are, you get frustrated. You're just trying to do your job. You know, your boss told you you have to be the admin and it's extra work or whatever. So I feel like if I can keep it light and keep it loose and keep it funny a little bit, you know, and I encourage my team, like I run the support team. I encourage, like we try to have a really loose, conversational, lighthearted relationship with our customers. You know, just it makes it a little easier, I think. You know, if you've got this, if you get in an error and the support guy comes back with like, you know, like just a little something lighthearted, I feel like it's gonna, you know, you're gonna relax a little bit. You're gonna be happier when the solution comes. You know, I think if you can be happier, you bought our product. Like, so I definitely use the humor and the creativity.
So the first one is the creativity.
Yep.
You brought on. The second one is, I think you said communication skills.
Yep.
Is that what you said?
Yep.
You understand the customer really well because you were in their place learning.
So long ago, right? Yeah.
Ago. And the third is the like keeping it light
and fun. Yeah.
Fun. Cool. Those are the three things that other people can also emphasize when they're interviewing for a Salesforce admin job, who are coming from entertainment industry, from a service industry.
Oh yeah, sure, right.
Right. And these, I think, are the key, especially the first two are the key skills to do well as a Salesforce admin, as a Salesforce support agent.
Absolutely. Right? You know, one of the best guys on my team, he still plays in a band. He's in a band down in Texas.
Wow.
And he got himself certified, and you know, we found him somehow, and he's great. And same thing, man. He just, you know, he comes at it like he's loose, he's smart, he's creative, and customers respond really well to him. In fact, wow. He's our guy. He's our main accounting support guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. We threw him in the deep end. We're like, I'm like, you understand accounting at all? Congratulations, those are all your cases. Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. This is pretty much it for my questions, Tim. Last piece of advice. Can you, for someone wanting to make a career switch, what is the one thing you would recommend they do?
I would say get yourself you know, a Trailhead account or a developer org, and just go in and break things and try things. Like, that's how I learned, man. Like I said, when I came on board, I was about 3 weeks ahead of our customers, right? And my boss was saying, we got to make it do this, right? I remember one of our competitors used flows really well, and he was like, we need this. You've got 2 weeks. Like, so I just went in there. I didn't know, right? I didn't know how to do flows. I didn't know process, but I didn't know nothing. But I just, like, for 2 weeks, I just went in there and tried, you know, and I go back and I look what I did now, and it's appalling, but I feel like that's what's great. I mean, that's what's really cool, right? That you have these tools available to you, even as just anybody, right? Anybody can go sign up for a dev org. So, you know, go in, see what you can do, make stuff, break stuff, try stuff. You know, I have a folder filled with just ridiculous scripts from when I was teaching myself Apex, like things you would never really do. Like, I have a script that will change every customer in the org's name to Joe, like, because I wanted to see if I could do that, right? Like, so I would say my number one advice is just like, just try, just play around and try. What's cool, it's you know, you can break it and it doesn't matter.
Cool. That's as long as that's what I also tell people. As long as you keep trying, don't lose momentum, don't lose hope. You're making progress.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, you know, I took a break from cases today. I'm trying to build some metrics for my team. And it was like, you know, 3.5 years later, I'm like in a whole chunk of Salesforce I don't know anything about right now. So I'm back in, like, building these reports, building these formulas. Some of them work, some of them don't.
That's the other amazing thing about Salesforce, that there's so many things you can learn continually. And you're being paid to learn, right?
Absolutely, right? Yeah. So now 6 months from now, some customer's going to ask me to build some report, and I'm going to look really smart, but I'm not. It's because I spent all day today, you know, what happens if I click this? What happens if I filter by this? What happens if I do this? You know?
Also.
Right. Yeah, and it is. It's continual learning and continual challenge, and I love it.
It's amazing that you made the career switch. Well done for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And I hope more people from the entertainment industry also consider making career switch, because really it's hard to enjoy life if your paycheck is not stable, if you cannot provide for your family, if you cannot meet the basic needs, right? How can you think about comedy or other things, higher things, if you cannot do basic things?
Absolutely. It takes a lot of the pressure off, and I think it frees up your brain.
Exactly. And that's why I think every single person should have like a core technical skill.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do it well, they get a lot of free time to do things that they really love on
Absolutely.
weekends or evenings.
I agree 100%. Like it's,
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing that you can take with you, and
Yeah,
it's that safety net.
exactly. Imagine you want to move to New York or you want to move to Europe. You can continue doing
Right.
your Salesforce admin work from anywhere you want. From and
Yeah.
now you're not tied to just Boston, right? Previously, you
Exactly. It could
probably
go
were tied.
anywhere. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I don't find a downside.
Cool. I'm really happy to hear a happy story that you made this leap. And final question: who's
Yeah.
your favorite comedian?
Oh my gosh, all time Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh,
That guy, he's my all time number one.
I don't know him, but I will
Oh,
Google.
you're too young. You're too young. You Google him. He's back in the '80s. He was the man. He was great.
Oh, okay. All right, Tim. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you, man. I really enjoyed this.
All right. Have a nice day. Bye
You
bye.
too. Take care.